And thank you for joining us for the second half hour. The Factor Uncensored. A father in Oregon is now paying the price for his actions during his daughter's sleepover. Michael Maiden has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. In court, he admitted to putting a medication that would make them sleep for insomnia in the smoothies of his daughter and her friends. Maiden wanted his daughter and her 3 friends to be well rested for the next day. According to him, they were not asleep by 11 o'clock, so he decided to lace their drinks. One of the girls did not drink the smoothie. She was still awake when Maiden came to check on them. She then texted her parents that something was off. This case was just another reminder of how dangerous some slumber parties or sleepovers can be. Joining us to talk about it, parents May Renee, Dale Lynn Settle, and Dr. Ruth Allen Olison. Glad to have you all here on the Fact. First of all, I am impressed by the young girl who said, and she's what, 12? Something's off here.
Something's off.
I'm texting you guys, something's off here. So your thoughts on that, first of all, that she had the foresight to see that something wasn't right.
Good parenting. Good parenting. Apparently, she's been coached to communicate with her parents. You know what you say? See something, say something. I am so impressed by that myself. And I also think that we really have to be careful about who our children are around. We've got to teach them these signals. If it doesn't feel right, got to communicate with your parents.
Dylan, your thoughts on something like this happening to your child if you send him to a sleepover?
I say I'm safe, but I ain't that safe. I'm putting a pause on somebody. I just can't imagine. Well, first of all, my kids don't go to sleepovers. We don't do sleepovers. It used to be a time.
And was that a conscious decision?
Very, very much so. And it has a lot to do with my upbringing. My parents did not allow us to go to sleepovers. They actually opened their homes to others to come in. But nowadays, like, I don't even want. I don't know how I feel comfortable with other kids in our homes because we don't know the families like we used to.
Right.
We used to play outside with everybody's kids. Our parents knew everybody's parents. It's not the same anymore. And so my 5, no, we're just not doing sleepovers. We can do play dates. We can go to, Monkey Joe's, jump around, but you're coming home with me afterwards.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, May, your thoughts on this. And are you hesitant to allow your children to participate in sleepovers?
To a certain degree. When I grew up, I had a little bit of the opposite upbringing. My parents allowed me to spend the night at friends' houses. I did a lot of group sports, so there was a lot of times where, like, team moms, you would go and spend the night at a team member's house or what have you. But times have changed to a certain degree. I only let my child spend the night if I know those other children's parents. I have to meet them a couple of times, like maybe we all go out as a group, like really get to know them. And if something to me personally feels off, then I may not let my child spend the night. And to circle back to what you said, Doctor, I always teach my son, if something doesn't feel right, say something. Text me, let me know. I don't care if it was absolutely nothing. I would rather me go pick you up at 2 a.m. versus something else happening because you felt like you couldn't reach out to me or what have you.
Now, is this a problem that we're now seeing, or has this always been around, but with the advent of social media, news media, we're seeing more about it?
There have always been problems. There were problems when I grew up. There were places where I stayed that things happened, and there were inappropriate things for me as a child. It shouldn't have happened, but with no words to express that, I didn't know what to say, didn't know who to tell. And so now I yell at kids, I tell kids in the church, there are no secrets between children and adults. And if someone tells you, no, don't tell anybody, or you're in a place and you feel uncomfortable, tell them, well, at least tell them, I'm going to tell my pastor. Tell it.
And you've intrigued me, so I have to follow up. What did you experience, what did you see as a young person that left you with this mindset? Always tell an adult, never let it just go unanswered.
Full-on molestation. That's what I experienced.
And were you able to tell your parents back then?
No.
What did you do with that?
Suffered. Turned it in, and eventually blacked it out until I was 18. Something triggered it, and I remembered, oh my goodness, this is what happened.
And as a parent, is that your worst nightmare?
It
Especially not being able to constantly watch your child.
It is, because as a parent, you want to protect your child. And there's a fine line between helicopter parenting and being wise and making wise decisions, because I am my child's advocate. And I think if that happens to my child, the first thing I feel is regret. What could I have done differently? What could I have, seen? What did I not see? What signs were there? And I think that is the reason why, even if I know the parents, you don't know what goes on in people's houses. It even happens within families, unfortunately. And so it's not me being overly cautious. It's me just being a parent and protecting my child. And so if I can do small things like, say, we'll hang out, or if, we do go onto team trips, I'll be that team mom and I'll go on that trip as well so that my child doesn't miss out. But there are things that I think as parents we should be doing so that it doesn't happen to our child.
All right, we want to thank you all for joining us, and Dr. Ruth, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure it will help somebody else out there.
I hope
we
so.
appreciate you sharing that with us.